Grand Rising, everybody. I hope everybody's well enjoying the holiday weekend. Anytime I hear holidays, I think of the holidays Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, but there are holidays throughout the year. I just heard every day is Christmas and every night is New Year's Eve. That's right. Well, like I said, hopefully, I hope everybody, and I'm manifesting and affirming, because we don't hope and pray, and wish. We manifest. Luck equals lack. I hope everybody's enjoying the weekend. This beautiful weather. It's pretty mild right now. They said black and mild. It's pretty mild right now, but there's a lot of people, going to be cooking out, grilling, eating, Easter egg hunts, painting, dipping, dyeing. I said dipping dots. Anyway, today I would like to bring forth to you guys' attention goddess Ishtar. A lot of people know about her, have heard about her. A lot of people do not. Ishtar is a goddess, a multifaceted goddess. Ishtar takes 3 paramount forms, and then they show me Paramount and the movie. Somebody's watching a movie, Paramount Pictures, the winged horse Pegasus, and they show me the triangle, tri-star pictures. She's the goddess of love and sexuality, and thus fertility. She is responsible for all life. But she is never a mother goddess. As the goddess of war, she's often shown as winged and bearing arms. They said the right to bear arms. All right, that was Google's definition, and I'm going to, Brooklyn Museum has an entry. And I'm going to read that. You guys do your own research and homework. Any goddesses and gods that, call out to you or in your energy field, get some information on them, educate yourself. They may be your ancestors, your deities, your guides. Okay, this entry is a little bit long, but I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read pertinent information. BrooklynMuseum.org. And then they said Brookline, Massachusetts. Ishtar, called the Queen of Heaven by the people of ancient Mesopotamia, modern Iraq, was the most important female deity in their pantheon. She shared many aspects with an earlier Sumerian goddess, Inanna, I-N-A-N-N-A, or Inanna, I-N-A-N-A. The name Ishtar comes from the Semitic language of the Akkadians and is used for the goddess from about 2300 BC. This section, which is what I read before, which is what they took, the smaller, this section is the paragraph that I just read, and they took it from this paragraph. A multifaceted goddess, Ishtar takes 3 paramount forms. She is the goddess of love and sexuality, and thus fertility. It said fertile. She is responsible, and then they said a Trekkie. They show me that somebody's a Trekkie. A multifaceted goddess, Ishtar takes 3 paramount forms. She is the goddess of love and sexuality, and thus fertility. She is responsible for all life, but she is never a mother goddess. As the goddess of war, she is often shown winged and bearing arms. Her third aspect is celestial. She is the planet Venus, the morning and the evening star. They said, I'm your Venus, I'm your fire. And then they show me Venus. So somebody's shaving, be careful. They said Gillette, the best a man can get. Perhaps the most well-known myth of Ishtar, Inanna, tells of how she chose a young shepherd, Dumuzi, later called Tammuz, as her lover. They later became joined through the ritual called sacred marriage. I think it's what, Hierogamos or something like that, sacred holy marriage. Shortly after Dumuzi died. In one version, he's killed by raiders. It said LA Raiders, LA Kings, and mourned by his wife, sister, and mother. In another, Ishtar, Inanna, travels to the underworld and once there must sacrifice the Muzi, offering him as her replacement in order to leave. For half the year, he returns to the world while his sister takes his place in the underworld, thus becoming the dying and reborn god of agricultural fertility. I don't know if they'll go, I don't know if they'll go into this further in this paragraph, but concept of the bunny and the eggs come from the goddess Ishtar, and bunny representing Easter, spring. The rebirth, the end of the winter, and the end of, they said spring cleaning, the end of the old, the spring equinox. That's where the bunny and the pastel colors come from. The eggs representing new birth, new life, unknown, like a nest egg, the golden egg. Ishtar is described as taking many lovers. In the epic of Gilgamesh, the hero refuses her advances, enumerating the grim fates of her other lovers. It said enumerator. I know enumeration. I used to be an enumerator for the Census Bureau back in 2000. They said Grim, the brothers Grim, and then Grim Reaper, and then they said the fates. The fates balance the scales. Look up the scales. Look up the fates as well. They're the deities, a trio of goddesses, a trio of deities. In other Ishtar is described as taking many lovers. In the epic of Gilgamesh, the hero refuses her advances, enumerating the grim fates of her other lovers. In other myths, Ishtar controls thunderstorms and rains, wages war in the divine world, and steals the Sumerian for offices from the god Enki, also known as Poseidon. These are difficult to define. They can be characterized as divine powers, properties, or principles that enable the continuation of order, institution, and thus organized civilization. Ishtar's possession of them contributes to what Thorkild Jacobson in The Treasures of Darkness calls her infinite variety of a goddess. I personally feel these goddesses, and like I said, do your research, your homework, put your own 2 cents into it. Pick sense from nonsense is what we were taught as children. You pick sense from nonsense, that's what it means. You might read some things, listen to other opinions that are unlike yours, or not in agreement with yours, but open-minded people. Don't shut other people down because their opinions differ from theirs. Open-minded people seek to understand, not seek to control or tell people what they believe is wrong. Even if their belief is wrong, beliefs are come into being by experiences, age, gender, nationality, race, location, where you work. Everybody comes to their own beliefs based on their experiences and their different walks of life. So I say that to say what you believe to be correct might not be so. What's good for the geese might not necessarily be good for the gander. And then they said Hansel and Gretel. And I think there's a movie, Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters or something like that. I'm licking my lips because my throat is dry. And then they said water runs dry. I personally feel these are archetypes, multifaceted. The first word was multifaceted, multidimensional. And that's why a lot of God's word, weren't in charge of just one thing. Ishtar is goddess of love, war, fertility. That's why in my opinion, there were so many aspects, multifaceted, multidimensional. Many faces of the one. As the goddess of sex, Ishtar may have been connected with sexual practice and cults in a way that is not yet fully understood. Past popular and scholarly literature often refers to her association with prostitution, beginning with Herodotus. Later, ancient Greek accounts describe a practice that required women once in their lives to perform sex with a stranger within Ishtar's temple precincts. Although the existence of prostitution is documented in ancient Mesopotamia, and then I'm hearing the word Timothy, Timberland, they said somebody got Timberland up. Although the evidence of prostitution is documented in ancient Mesopotamia, this particular form of sacred prostitution is not. Exploit erotic and sexual references do abound in texts concerning Ishtar Inanna. However, ancient terms for classes of individuals associated with her cult or temple, formerly often translated to sacred prostitute, more likely encompass a range of roles in cult rituals that changed over time. You see how I'm trying to get these words out and they keep jumbling my words? Somebody's looking. It said they're doing Sudoku, word search, or word jumble. And then they said speak and spell. And then somebody's using subtitles when they watch TV. My daughters use the subtitles and I never liked them until I realized that now I love them. Because of her multiple aspects and powers, Ishtar Inanna remains a complex and confusing goddess figure in modern study. Scholars suggest she incorporates contradictory forces to the point of embodying paradox. Yeah, duality on the earth plane. Why does any one thing has to be either or? It can be both. The ego wants you to choose. Things can be both, and that will be the level of the soul. Scholars suggest she incorporates contradictory forces to the point of embodying paradox, sex and violence, fecundity and death, beauty and terror, sensuality and marginality, order and chaos. Rivka Harris views her as a liminal figure. I'm hearing parish. Rivka Harris views her as a liminal figure. Harris Inanna Ishtar as paradox, page 265. In Women of Babylon, Gender and Representation of Mesopotamia, Zainab Baraner calls her the embodiment of alterity. Ishtar, in all her variety and contradiction, was a central figure in ancient Mesopotamian religion and culture for millennia. Let's see what else she has here. The colors of the plate and runner, mainly shades of gold with green highlights, were chosen as Ishtar's colors. The gold represents her grandeur and also echoes. They said Earth to Echo, which is a movie. Also echoes some of the colors of the Mesopotamian architecture and landscape, while green is her sacred color. They said Nut and Jeb. And then they said Gaia, goddess Gaia. On the plate, she is depicted as a positive female creator with multiple breast-like forms that allude to her role as a giver of life. These are paralleled in the stitching around the capital letter done in Italian shading. Because Ishtar is usually identified as a later form of Inanna, a Sumerian goddess, there are many similarities between their myths and artistic representation. The two are often seen as one goddess with one tradition. In much of literature, they are referred to as a single being, Ishtar Inanna or Inanna Ishtar. In the dinner party, however, Judy Chicago has chosen to represent them as two separate entities. Inanna can be found on the heritage floor as one of the names related to Ishtar. Let's see what else they have here. Yes, so as with anything else, do your homework. About Mish. They said Gilgamesh, and then they said Gargamel, the Smurfs. Inanna's siblings were Utu, Shamash, her twin brother. Eresh Kigal was her older sister, and in some sources, Hadad was another brother. Her consort was Dumuzid, the shepherd, Zababa, and many unnamed others, because as I was explaining, she took many lovers. Her children, it says usually none, but rarely Lubal and Shara or Nanaya. And then this goes on, this part is Inanna, and like I said, that's going to be the end of my channeling. Well, it's not even a channel message this time. It's, well, I got the channel message to read about her to you guys for the Easter weekend. Inanna is an ancient Mesopotamian goddess associated with love, beauty, sex, war goddess, and political power. She was originally worshipped in Sumer under the name, this says Sumerian tablets, under the name Inanna, and later by the Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians under the name Ishtar. She was known as the Queen of Heaven. And then I'm hearing Queen of the Nile. I don't know that she was Queen of the Nile, but again, this is channeled, you know, I get channeled messages. And then they're singing Queen of the Night. They said Queen of the Night from the Bodyguard soundtrack. And then they said Queen of the Damned, Leah. She was known as Queen of Heaven and was a patron goddess of the Inanna temple at the city of Uruk, U-R-U-K, which was her main cult center. She was associated with the planet Venus, and her most prominent symbols included the lion and the 8-pointed star. Wow. Both of which resonate with me for different symbolic reasons. Symbols don't always have to mean, look at the triangle here they're showing me. And the rainbow. Symbols don't have to mean what they, obviously symbols mean what they mean statistically, but you can ask your angels and your guides and your the divine to show you, okay, well, when I see a triangle, it means this. When I see a rainbow, it means that. You can assign and associate your own meanings, additional meanings to symbols. It said somebody is channeling light language, and then they're about to start physical speaking light language and actually writing it down, and other people are going to be channeling light language through artwork. She was associated with the planet Venus, and her most prominent symbols included the lion and the 8-point star. Her husband was the god Dumuzid, later known as Tammuz, and her Sukkal, S-U-K-K-A-L, or personal attendant, they said the handmaid's tale, lady in waiting, was the goddess Nin Shubar, who later became conflated with the male deities Ilabret and Papa Sukkal, Queen of Heaven. Her symbol was a hook-shaped knot of reeds. They said the symbol of reeds, the land of reeds. An 8-pointed star, the rosette, a dove, the lion. Her parents, Nana and Ningal. In some literary works, possibly Enil and an unknown mother of Enki. Siblings, Utu, Shamash, twin brother. This sounds similar to what I was reading about Ishtar. In Inanna's descent, Ereshkigal, older sister, yes, Hadad. In some sources, Hadad, yes. So yes, this is Greek equivalent, Aphrodite, Athena. Roman equivalent, Venus, Minerva. Canaanite equivalent, Astarte. Elamite equivalent, Pinikir. Hurrian equivalent, Shaushka. And it goes on and on and on. So you guys can, they say on and on to the break of dawn. Yeah, and that's what's going on. We're breaking these cycles of not knowing. We're breaking these cycles of illness, sickness, disease, poverty, and we are rising up. About 3 years ago, when I was still living in Stone Mountain, they said the Stone people. About 3 years ago, when I was still living in Stone Mountain, I was looking out in the, I forgot what it's called, scrying. And you can look at the, or cartomancy, I'm not exactly sure. Scrying, I think, is when you can look at the reflection of something and read a divine, receive a divine message from it. Look it up. But where I'm going I was looking in the trees and I saw an outline of our ascended master, Yeshua, Jesus. And as soon as I looked and I recognized, I heard, I said, he too is risen, he is risen, and so too are you, child, is what I had heard. And the other, and I just heard that as that's what I had heard. And another thing I had heard, my guides tell me was like, there is no separation between you and I. Jesus, there is no separation between you and I. And I have come again to remind you of this truth. Christ, like I say, is named after the Christ consciousness, an ascended master. When Christ rises within you, it is called the crucifixion. And I'm going to be channeling that on my next, maybe I'll read that. I might channel that right now. It's written down. But crucifixion has nothing to do with the cross and everything to do with ascension. Think about it. Somebody can't physically rise from the dead when they said that he died for our sins. You got to do your research. The Bible is one of many books comprised of other many sacred texts, and it has stories that were written for, they're saying, what's the word? I can't remember the word. It was written to be, the stories in the Bible were they weren't meant to be written down. They were meant to be, what's the word? Recited. As words of opinion and stories, because some of the stories represent archetypes and figurative language. So like I said, the word sin has nothing to do with sin. The word sin means to miss a mark, as in an archer missing a mark, as in you not rising up out of the matrix when your soul came here to do so. I think, to me, even more sad than the people that are demons, obviously on your own path, but I think, to me, more sad than those, because obviously you know what you're doing. Those are clearly defined sometimes, most of the time. Even if they're clearly not defined, they become defined. But I think, to me personally, in my personal opinion, what's even more sad, 2222, is a light worker whose light was dimmed and they don't know who they are anymore. I know a few of those people off the top of my head, and those people are including the ones that I had to let go because of everything that I've described and shared with you guys throughout my videos. It's time to move on to the next leg of the race. It's time to move on to the next level. So whoever vibrationally isn't aligned, you can't come. So like I said, crucifixion has nothing to do with a physical cross and everything to do with Kundalini, ascension, raising your vibration to first Christ consciousness and then to I am consciousness, which is ascension. Everybody's ascending, but what level of consciousness are you ascending to? Some people are waking up, but you're only going to wake up to know that there's something wrong, but you're not necessarily expanding consciousness. And that's the difference between conscious and woke and spiritually awakened. Anyway, continue to do your research, to continue to ground yourself, continue to educate yourself, continue to empower yourself, inspire, motivate yourself and others around you. Continue to be great. And let go of anything and anyone, any habit, any place, any people, person or thing, family member, neighbors, or otherwise. Family members, friends, co-workers, old lovers, ex-lovers, children, parents. Let go of anything that no longer serve your highest good and your soul tribe's highest good. Because at this point, if it's not hurting, if it's not helping, then it's hurting. If you're not in alignment, you're in dis-ease. And you won't be prosperous that way, living somebody else's truth. You have to stand all the way in your own power. Stop worrying about what other people think, because guess what? Most people are not standing in their own power. So why would you follow somebody who's not doing what you want to do? How would they know? They don't. You guys be well. Enjoy the weekend. They said enjoy responsibly. Drink and eat. Don't bother eat too much. Don't bother eating too much, but travel safely, safe travels. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the weekend, enjoy the weather, enjoy your children, enjoy your family. For some people, for some family, they said this is the last time that you're going to see some people because the new cycle already began. And for anybody who's listening, anybody had to leave in the past, I love y'all. And they said, I love y'all like I love no bitch. And that's real shit. On some hip shit, homie, dig this. That's right. They said Snoop Dogg's ups and downs. Anybody who had to leave in the past, I love me. I have love for y'all, but like I tell y'all, it's not about love. What's love got to do with this point? It has to do with vibration and the mission that we're on. The mission that I will not be stopped by anybody, not even myself, to complete. This is what we're here to do. So keep the vibrations high, ground yourself, eat well, eat clean, play dirty. They said eat clean and exercise dirty, play fair. Do what you got to do for you. For some people, they said you're about to see why you're leaving people in the past. Don't get sucked back into a new cycle, which is where I'm going. Think about the last 7 to 9 years of your life. And if this is not impetus for you, if nothing else was impetus for you, I let this be. I said 2611, 811 is significant because it signifies strength. In some tarot cards, the 8 cards signify strength, like I was saying, the lion. And others, tarot decks, the lion is strength. Strength and justice, 8 and 11. So some tarot decks, strength is 8 and justice is 11. And then some tarot decks, strength is 11 and justice is 8. So either way, 8, 11, 181, 11, 8, 118, you know what I'm saying? Where I'm going with the cycles are over and we're beginning new cycles. I cannot imagine, which is why I had to let some people go for several different reasons. I cannot imagine spending the next 7 to 9 years exactly the way that I spent the last 7 to 9 years. There's no way. No way in heaven. I heard no way in hell. No way. No way. I love my children and myself too much. I've been through too much. Put up through too much. Did too much shadow work, inner child healing, mirror work. I said mirror magic, moon magic. Some people need to stop with that shit. 2727 is significant. Yeah, unexpected income, grand fortune, gift. That's what happens when you rise up and you leave the lower vibrations where they belong in the past and leave them, they said leave them where they left you. Be well, be safe, be healthy, be happy, and get rid of anything that costs your peace, because if it costs your peace, it's too expensive. This is not peace. This is separation. This is peace. Okay? Division, unity. Division, unity. This is true peace. And when you do it like this is why it's not peaceful. Because look, there's 2 people right here. They need to be together for unity. You guys be well. See you next video.